Danger may be lurking at your local hospital, and it's not just the germs. Hospitals, research centers, and colleges are running out of places to dispose of dangerous medical waste. So some have been throwing it in their closets and basements and storage sheds. There are now fears that radioactive materials could get lost or even stolen by terrorists and turned into some sort of a dirty bomb.
All right, guys, the prosecution plans.
And Wayne Metzen, an investigative journalist from Washington, has his own theory on the origins of the virus.
I spoke to two journalists, one from Mexico City and the other one from Jakarta, Indonesia. And of course, Indonesia had a problem not long ago with bird flu. Both these journalists have been in touch with UN and World Health Organization officials, including a scientist who's dealt with Ebola virus and HIV/AIDS in Africa, and it's their conclusion, these scientists who they've spoken to, that this is a very unusual form of flu because it looks like it is a product of some gene splicing. The flu contains elements of bird flu, two forms of human flu, and various forms of swine flu. To them, it doesn't look like this is naturally occurring. The other thing is the target for this flu, as opposed to other flus, it's not the very young and the very old, it's people between the ages of 20 and 45. It's not the very young and the very old, it's people between the ages of 20 and 45. And the other thing is, people are not contracting this from pigs. The National Pork Council here in America says pigs are not being affected. This is human-to-human contact, so people who either eat pork or are exposed to pigs are not getting this flu. Very unusual, and of course the scientists are very alarmed by the way it's being spread and the speed at which it's being spread.
Well, we've got more information pouring in at this hour on the swine flu situation. Right now, the state of Indiana says it has a confirmed case. Officials are not releasing details on how this person may have contracted it, only saying it's a young adult. There's also a local report that a Mexican tourist who was at Disney World over the last couple of days in Orlando, Florida, has a confirmed case. That could affect a whole lot of people. And the World Health Organization is in the midst of a news conference briefing reporters right now. This is a live picture of it. They have confirmed cases in the UK and in New Zealand. We'll be talking with the CDC in just a couple of minutes, Centers for Disease Control, asking some of your questions. Happening Now is the blog, foxnews.com/happening now. Send us your questions and we'll be asking them.
Explanation for that?
I want to get to some breaking news on this swine flu situation. There is now a local report out of Orlando, Florida, that a director of a hospital there in Orlando says they do have a confirmed case of swine flu. And what makes this one so interesting is that the doctor, the chief medical officer of this hospital in Orlando, tells this local station that a tourist from Mexico came to Disney World 2 days ago to visit. They are now trying to work on figuring out where that tourist actually was, which Disney park he or she was in, and who he or she may have come into contact with. So that is a story that's going to be developing, as you can imagine, over the next couple of hours. We're working to confirm that independently. Potentially a swine flu case confirmed in Orlando, Florida, in a tourist who spent time in the last couple of days at Disney World. More to come.
Gonna be funny to see Mickey Mouse in a gigantic surgical mask. Hey, we have some new numbers.
I want to get now to the swine flu outbreak. The World Health Organization has just confirmed there are new cases in the United Kingdom and in New Zealand. We're also getting word at this hour of more cases here in the United States, in Indiana, and possibly in Orlando, Florida. Joining me now is Dr. Joe Brzee. He's chief of the Epidemiology and Prevention Branch at the CDC's Influenza Division. Good to see you, Joe. Thank you for being here. Can you confirm, first of all, this case out of Orlando? We're working to do it independently. It sounds like it may have been a tourist from Mexico who spent time at Disney World?
I can't confirm that case, and I'll caution that the cases are going to be reported the more cases are going to be reported over the next days, the next weeks, and we're not surprised about that, and we'd fully expect that. I'd also remind everybody that as we get more cases and more states are reporting their first case, we're likely to see more severe cases as well, and we're likely to see hospitalizations and even deaths. And so the fact that we'll see more cases in the coming weeks and the coming days, we fully expect.
You know, it's interesting, the acting director of your agency, his quote was, "I wouldn't be overly reassured by the fact that we have not seen deaths in this country like we've seen in Mexico." What are we to read into that? What's to come?
Oh, that's right. I think what we don't know about this virus so far is the spectrum of illness. How many hospitalizations will it cause? How many deaths? How many mild illnesses? And what the differences are between what they're seeing in Mexico and what we're seeing in the United States. I think the fact is we're very early in the outbreak investigation, and the trajectory of the numbers of cases over the next couple of weeks will tell us a lot more than we know now.
Doctor, you know, people obviously have so many questions. We've asked for emails and blogs, and I'm going to get to them in just a second, but when we're talking about a case potentially of somebody who had been spending 2 or 3 days at Disney World, it does raise the question of, yikes, if I was there with my kid and I held that handrail too, what do you do in a case like that if it's in a very public space?
That's right. I think that as we learn more about how this virus spreads and what the risk factors are, what the risk of getting infection are, and if you get sick, what the risk factors are for getting really sick with the virus, we'll be able to give better guidance on how to prevent it. I think that the fact is that this is an influenza virus, and we know a lot about influenza viruses, and we know a lot about how they spread. And so I would tell folks like that do the things that your mom taught you to do. This is what I said yesterday: is wash your hands a lot, wash your hands with soap or with gel, and cover your cough. And if you get sick, stay home, stay away from others as much as you can. I think that's the best advice for preventing.
Your screen there is the President of the United States, President Obama. He has said in some remarks after a meeting with the FBI director that big flyover of Air Force One yesterday, the plane used by the president, it's not actually Air Force One unless he's on board, and he was not. That flyover was a big mistake, says the president. Whether heads are going to roll or not, we don't know. And the head of the White House military office has taken responsibility for sending that jumbo jet flying at very low altitude over the Statue of Liberty and past some of the skyscrapers in lower Manhattan. Scared a lot of people. They thought it was 9/11 all over again. We will hear if the president makes more remarks on that point to these FBI employees who are gathered there.
At the breaking news desk, I want to take you right away now to Houston, Texas, where flooding is a big problem. We've just gotten some new pictures that have come in, and wow, when you see some of the areas that are affected, it is hard to believe that these houses will even be inhabitable when the water does recede, and they're hoping that that actually happens very, very soon. But what they have right now is the aftermath of too much rain and no place to go as flash floods hit during commuter time, during rush hour time this morning, and you can see away from the highways and residential areas. Look at that car in the center. Now it's up to the top right of your screen. I mean, it's just floating out there in the middle of nowhere, and these houses are up several feet up their walls. You got to imagine that the damage inside is pretty bad. Now, away from the scene, guys, I don't know if you can take remote 272 that's coming into acquisitions right now. Another satellite picture that we can take is also going on in Houston right now, and I'm learning from our assignment desk here in the newsroom that they think they may have somebody trapped in a flooded out ditch in Houston. It's a story that I'm following right now. As I get more information and we can turn those pictures around, we'll show you. But not only is there this problem of high water in residential areas of Houston, away from here there's like an aqueduct or a culvert or something that runs along a main highway in Houston that, there we go, we got it. That area is filled with water, and witnesses say they saw a car kind of marooned in there, and now they're getting ready to put divers in there to see if they have anybody trapped. Now, here's the thing you need to know. This is where all the news crews are, and it's fairly shallow. Upstream from this, the water is very deep, floodwaters in this ditch area. I will stay on this, get you more information on an active scene that's going on in Houston among all the flooding there right now. Back to you guys.
Harris Faulkner, thank you. We have this just in from the President of the United States. You can see there he is getting ready to speak to FBI employees. But before he spoke to them or speaks to them, he